Thank you for accessing the UT Dentist Note Timeliness dashboard. This video will walk you through the features of the dashboard. The purpose of this project is to provide you information about how often you are not entering notes on the date of service or the business day after. UT Dentist's goal is to have all notes entered on the date of service, but the next business day is considered to be an acceptable time frame. When you log in, you will see your name at the top. This has been blurred out for this training video. You will also see in the top right the time frame being considered in this dashboard. At any given point in time, this dashboard will always show you information for the past 13 months. While this training video only shows static images, this dashboard is meant to be interactive. Almost everything in here can be clicked on in order to toggle between display options or to provide more in-depth information. This panel on the left shows you your own personal metrics for the past 13 months. The total encounters shows you how many patients you have seen and treated during this time frame. Encounters without a timely note shows you for how many of those visits a note was not entered on the date of service or business day after. The third row of this panel shows you that information in a percentage. The main panel in the middle gives you more detailed information on how often your notes were not timely over time. You will see two graphs here. On top, you have a bar graph with gray and orange bars. The gray bars show you how many patient encounters you had that month. The orange bars within the gray show you how many of those encounters did not have a note entered on the date of service or the day after. When you click on the bars for each month, you will see on the live dashboard that the panel to the right of this graph, called the status of charts without a timely note, will change to show you information for that month only. The bottom graph, the blue line graph, shows how your overall performance on note timeliness has changed over time. This shows the cumulative percentage of notes that have not been timely since the beginning of the date range shown. When you are in the live dashboard, you can click on the blue circles labeled with eyes on the left of the graphs to remind you how these graphs should be interpreted. The other main graph on this dashboard shows you how your note timeliness compares to your peers in UT Dentist. You can find your own name next to a colored bubble, but you'll see that the other bubbles have been anonymized. You can see where your bubble fits in with everybody else. The x-axis shows how many patient encounters you have had during the time frame, and the y-axis shows you your percentage of those encounters that had a note that was not entered on time. This type of graph, called an analysis of proportion graph, takes into account how many patients you've seen during the time frame and then can make statistical comparisons, whether or not you've seen 20 patients or 200 patients. This graph also shows you how you compare to the system mean, or how everyone at UT Dentist is doing as a whole. You can see that the UT Dentist system mean as of October 2021 was 15.6%. Meaning 15.6% of all patient encounters with any provider included here did not have a note entered on time. Now, look at the legend on the left that shows you the three different colored bubbles and what they mean. These colors indicate how you are doing compared to that system mean. If you are a green bubble, that indicates that you are performing statistically lower than the system mean, which means that you do better than average at getting your notes in on time. You want to have a green bubble. Blue bubbles mean that you get your notes in on time about the same as the system mean, or you are about average compared to how the rest of UT Dentist providers are doing. Orange bubbles mean that you are performing statistically higher than the system mean, or you generally get your notes in on time less often than the average UT Dentist provider. In summary, this graph can show you statistically how you compare to your peers and how you compare to UT Dentist as a whole. The right-hand side of the dashboard is your work list and shows you the status of notes written for recent patients. You'll notice that all dates display as January 1st, 1900, and all of the chart numbers show up as X's. This is an effort to protect patient information. Look at the bottom right-hand corner of the dashboard. You'll see a bright yellow box that says, "Click Yes" to show PHI on the dashboard. Change the toggle from No to Yes. Now that you have chosen the option to display PHI, you'll notice that the dashboard has changed. All PHI is now showing, including treatment dates and chart numbers. These have been blurred out for this training video. As I said, The right-hand side of the dashboard is your work list. The top panel shows you the patients that you have seen and dropped a code for in the past 7 days. You'll see the treatment date and the chart number listed, followed by a symbol. The blue check mark means a note has been entered for that patient encounter. A purple diamond shows that a note is currently due for that patient, meaning you saw the patient that day or the prior business day. These purple diamonds will turn into orange squares after the end of the business day after which you saw the patient, which means the time frame to be considered on time has passed and there is still no note present for that encounter. This panel shows all of the treatment dates and chart numbers that are being included in the count of non-timely notes. You can use this section as a way to see the status of the note for each of these encounters and take action as necessary. For each patient encounter, you will see either a blue check mark, an orange half circle, or an orange square. A blue check mark means that the note was entered and it was entered on time. An orange half circle means that eventually a note was written, but it just wasn't entered on time. The orange square means that we cannot find a note that is attributed to this encounter in the past 30 days. Orange squares will turn to orange half circles when a note is eventually entered for this patient encounter. An important caveat of how this data is captured is how the note is entered. This is especially important to note if you are trying to go back into the past and identify and write missing notes. There are several ways notes can be entered in Axiom, but only right-clicking on the treatment and entering a new treatment note will link the note to the specific treatment on the back end. If you do it this way, the dashboard will be able to detect that there is now a note for this encounter. If not, it is very difficult for our query to recognize which note goes with which appointment after 30 days. If a note is written but more than 30 days after an appointment, your note for that encounter on the dashboard may stay as an orange square forever. There is a filter at the bottom of this panel that allows you to toggle between different views. You can see all of your notes, just the encounters with no notes in the past 30 days, or just the notes that were written later, or all notes written on time. If you choose to use this dashboard to help with identifying and entering missing notes, the best option to choose is the view that shows only the encounters with no notes in 30 days. We have it set up so that you will automatically receive an email on Sunday night or Monday morning if you have at least one note missing for a patient seen in the last 7 days. This slide shows an example of the email that you will be sent. It will show up as from the Tableau server where the dashboard is kept. The subject line will read, "Encrypt, Data Alert, Your Note Timeliness Dashboard." The email will contain a snapshot of the dashboard. You can click on the image of your dashboard to be taken directly to the dashboard itself, where you can see which patient needs a note entered. If you want to change something about the alerts you receive, like make it daily instead of weekly, or if you would like to not receive these alerts at all, you will see options for Manage My Alerts or Remove Me from this alert at the bottom of the email. At the very top of the dashboard, you'll see 3 different tabs: the Note Timeliness Dashboard tab, the About Page tab, and Navigation Tips tab. The Note Timeliness Dashboard tab shows this main page. Click on the About Page tab. This page will give you more information about the dashboard, the data sources, including the data criteria, exclusions, and data refresh information. It also includes some basic data definitions and calculations. Click on the tab that says Navigation Tips. This page will show you essentially the same information included in this video. You can also access this video by clicking the link at the top. Finally, as you are working through the dashboard, if you see something that looks incorrect to you, for example, if a patient is listed that you didn't actually see, please contact your PCC first, who will be able to look into it. They will be able to detect if there were errors made during data entry. But if they can't figure out the issue, please contact our dashboard support team via the email address provided on the dashboard, and we will be happy to look into the problem. Also, feel free to contact us if you have any other questions about how to use the dashboard or if you have ideas for improvement. The goal of this dashboard is to help make improvements in the timeliness of our documentation. and we sincerely want this to be a useful tool for you, so we welcome all feedback. Lastly, thank you to UT Dentist administration team, who are the visionaries behind this tool, and thank you to the PCCs and providers who gave so much of their time to test these dashboards and provide their input. Thank you.